I think marriage is pointless. I think marriage as we accept it right now is pointless. It is a artificially contrived state that, while some people can be monogamous and all that, fine, but it's an artificial state to impose on all of humanity. To the pinnacle of social interaction between males and females is a permanent cohabitation agreement till death do us part. It seems really unreasonable. I can hear it now, the clamoring of people saying, well, monogamy is about trust and relationships and you have to expect all that. No, you don't. That's putting unreasonable expectations on people. If they want to take this expectation on themselves, that's fine. You want to get married? Great. I'm saying that this should not be the be-all, end-all, the pinnacle of how people can have a relationship. This is the ultimate aspiration that they must all come to, marriage, or else you haven't added up. That is my problem.
Well, it's not unreasonable to want to be monogamous, is it?
Well, it's not unreasonable for you to want to be monogamous. It is unreasonable for you to want everyone else to be monogamous. Where marriage exists as this institution that is codified as the be-all, end-all of the sanctified relationship, that is where I say it is pointless, because no one's going to really live up. I mean, people can, but how many people cheat? I mean, we can look up statistics. I don't want to say random numbers because I haven't looked it up very recently, but look it up for yourselves. I guarantee you the amount of people we know who cheat and how many relationships break up and divorce due to cheating is a rather high number. I guarantee it. Look it up for yourselves. And that tells me that a lot of people aren't monogamous at heart. This is not natural to them. They're going to have a fling. And it's, you know, you can say, well, their relationship had issues, or, well, what if it was a deeply broken thing? Well, then there's a point. That actually feeds my point. Not that they should have gotten counseling to get it better. Maybe they should have. But relationships and people can change. They can change dramatically. They can change sometimes at the drop of a hat, sometimes over the course of decades. But you're basically saying you get married at 25, you're 50. You're saying that you still trust the judgment of you who was 25. After another full life's worth of experiences and lessons, you're still automatically deferring to the judgment you made when you were 25. That's dumb. It's worse than dumb. It's harmful because you are a different person than you were 25 years ago. She is a different person.
It's what I've been talking about this. You know, I don't really like the idea of marriage because of the fact that we as human beings are so transient. Minute to minute, second to second, we have our own mental, psychological dissonances, and we're hypocrites about so many different things, and we change so often that it's reasonable for people to want to not be together anymore, to just have a mutual agreement that, yeah, we've grown apart as people after a number of years.
Yes. Now, I believe, like, if you're going to get together to have children, there should at least be a child-rearing agreement. Until child is X years old, or unless one parent or the other is providing or helping providing for the child, you know, that, well, there should be something drawn up for child-rearing so that there's a stable environment. However, this should not be a till death do us part arrangement. This should be until the child is old enough to leave the house arrangement.
That's what I've been thinking. That's like, you know, how the contract should work.
The contract should come up for renewal. That's
Exactly.
my point. People, let's say you're married, you haven't had kids, it's not really working out. 5 years come by, there should be a point where people can say, all right, this is a renewal point. Do you want to both sign off on this agreement? You both sign off.
I mean,
all right, you're done. It's
for
renewed.
fuck's sake, when you've got a driver's license, you have to, you know, retake tests every number of years when you have to renew your license. It should be the same kind of idea with
if
this.
both people want to sign off on the contract, yes, we renew, well, then it's renewed.
Exactly.
It should be that simple. But if someone has a problem, then there should be a way to end a relationship without a bloody divorce every time. Because to expect people to forever agree to anything for the rest of their life is pretty absurd, honestly.
And especially to necessitate it through the institution itself.
Yes. I mean, like, sure, you can expect people to never kill. You can expect people to never... I mean, you can't reasonably expect people to do much besides not kill. They're going to steal at least once, probably lie, cheat, covet, all the other sins. Cheating is going to happen. If it doesn't to you, good for you.
It's another example of people having unreasonable expectations for themselves and each other.
Now, I want to put an important caveat in this. If you do enter into a monogamous relationship with the understanding that you're going to be monogamous, I'm not condoning you cheating. I'm not saying, oh, well, you couldn't help it. Don't enter a contract you can't fulfill. If the concept of marriage bothers you and you don't think you're going to do it, have the balls to not do it. Or reach a different agreement, a better one. Don't enter a contract and break it. I guess you could say marriage as a concept I don't find pointless. It is our current implementation of it, where it is societally enforced and held up as the pinnacle. It should be an option. It should be one of many possible options, in fact, for people to have relationships. Oh, you feel that strongly?
For people to cohabitate and whatnot. And
maybe you
having
have a yearly
different
contract
legal contracts such as that afford the same rights for a married couple and things of that nature.
Exactly.
But there is a different type of contract. There should be degrees and variables here.
There really should. Because people have degrees and variables.
There's no real diversity of choice.
That there isn't. And that's part of my real problem here. Why marriage is pointless is because it's the only choice. When you only have choice A is pointless because the merits of choice A don't matter. It's the only choice. There's no discussion then. It's you're married or you're sinning. Or, oh, you're cohabitating?
But you have no rights to see them in the hospital. Yeah. You have no rights to combine your finances with the taxes and nothing. No.
And a big problem is the sanctity idea. I don't want to touch on this too long, but I want to make a note that when people say that they believe marriage is sanctimonious, it's a part of their faith and all that, you know what? At the core, great. The problem is, don't tell that to me. Like, you can tell it to me, fine. Just don't make me abide by it. I don't believe your faith. Marriage to me is a piece of paper certified by the government. It could be God's word to you. Fine. I don't think it's God's word, and I don't care what you think about God's word, honestly. I don't care. And you know what? People who don't have your faith don't care, don't want it. Please keep it out. You can have your faith as you want it, your marriage is as you want it. If I want to have a piece of paper that says I'm legally married to a guy instead of a girl, or I just want to have a piece of paper that says I'm married to a girl, and I don't want to go to church, too bad.
Just because you happen to agree with the current institution of marriage doesn't mean that you should try to block other forms of marriage from being allowed.
Exactly.
This is like, in principle, this is the exact same thing that goes along with the gay marriage issue.
Oh, well, of course. People can say, well, marriage is a faith issue and all of that. But no, you've tied a contract into it. That's where you done goofed.
It's a legal contract certified by a judge.
Yep.
Does
you
not
have to
have
have a license for it, no less. A marriage license. When this happens, your faith takes a back step because now there are lawyers and contracts involved. I'm sorry, this is now a document of the earth. This is a function of earth, not heaven. You put paperwork in it. If it was all God's work, you wouldn't need a judge and a lawyer. But since it is a judge and a lawyer contract issue, we play by the earth's rules, and that says the contracts must be put fairly. Anyone should be able to enter into a contract who is legally capable.
And stop being so arrogant as to co-opt the term marriage and conflate that term with the idea of a religious wedding ceremony. They're not the same thing.
Not anymore. A marriage was a religious ceremony, but now marriage just refers to any of it. A civil union is not the same thing in legal context. You either have to make a legally binding, equal to marriage other thing, and then basically acknowledge the separation of church and state. Marriage is a church institution only, while a civil union is only a state institution. You can get a marriage then at a church, but it has no contract. You can get a civil union at a court, but it has no religious validity. You can have both if you want. That's how I think would be fair there.
Exactly.
Marriage becomes purely ceremonial, civil unions become purely contractual, and may they mix only when the people wish them.
And all this is completely aside from the fact that marriage is just not natural.
No. Really, till death do us part will work for some people. And I'm not saying it works for no one.
Some people can be the albatross of the bird world.
Yeah,
they're the most monogamous.
And that's fine. It's just, it should not be the only thing that is available. It should not be the expectation. It should not condemn people who don't follow.
People should not feel obligated to have a relationship the way society wants them to have a relationship.
As long as no one is being harmed and we're not taking advantage of people who are legally or ethically or morally somehow compromised, then yeah, we're good. I think that's where it should be kept. And this is Bobo, signing off.